Well, thank you, Alan, for that introduction. Within the spirit of the pit, I guess I'll jump right into it. So today I'm going to be talking about engineering cognition and how it can be a differentiator. Okay. So one definition for cognition is the mental action or process of acquiring knowledge and understanding through thought, experience, and the senses. But before I go into detail about cognition and how it can be a differentiator for geotechnical consultants, I'd like to take you back just a few decades. Most of you have probably experienced going into a Blockbuster to rent a movie. For those unfamiliar, Blockbuster was a chain of stores that allowed the customer to peruse a massive inventory of movies and games in the store and rent these movies and games for a short period of time. Although Blockbuster was very popular just a few decades ago, Blockbuster has closed all but one store today. Blockbuster's decline was likely not a result of reduced quality of the in-store experience. Even today, the last remaining Blockbuster likely provides the best in-store movie renting experience. In the 2000s, a competitor really reshaped the market. Netflix provided a new service where they send the entertainment to you. Netflix started off by mailing these physical DVDs that hopefully we can all remember. And it quickly evolved to being a streaming company. And since this evolution, many large companies have entered the streaming market while Blockbuster has largely faded away. And it appears, at least to me, that Blockbuster may not have understood what its real value was to its customers. Some may have thought that the massive in-store inventory and its in-store experience was Blockbuster's value. But Netflix and other streaming services showed that the value of entertainment companies is to provide entertainment, not an in-store experience. And I see parallels to geotechnical consulting and what our real value is. Within the first months of starting at Schnabel, I remember my supervisor succinctly putting it. He said, "Travis, we provide ideas on paper." And he was right. We do provide ideas on paper. But I'd like to tweak this statement just a bit. I'd like to say more broadly that we provide and communicate ideas. So let's split this into two parts, the ideas and the communication. And I'd like to share a few words from another industry. With remote work and school over the last year, I was able to listen to a few lectures that my significant other watched as she studied for veterinary school. And I remember one particular lecture presented by a professional licensed in both law and veterinary medicine. And that professional said, "We make our profits and do so most responsibly by diagnosing, not by treating. Almost anyone can look up the right treatment, but only the successful can provide the right diagnosis. And more specifically, the treatment is largely irrelevant if it's for the wrong diagnosis." Within our own industry, and it's perfect to have Alan introducing me today, Alan reminded me recently that clients often have three types of problems: the ones they ask you to solve, the ones they really have, and the ones that are not yet realized. So we need to remember what our value is, and that's identifying our client's problems and solving it. So now on to the second piece that we do, and that's communicating ideas. And I'd like to share again an example from a different industry. In preparing for this presentation, I spoke with an old friend who teaches high school physics in Philadelphia, and he educated me on some key topics within secondary education right now. And those key topics, at least two of them that I'll bring up, are universal design and differentiation. And although I have a very limited background in these topics, I'll do the best I can to share the main ideas. So universal design is an approach of creating diverse learning experiences so that the knowledge is accessible to all students. And related but slightly different, the concept of differentiation is making adjustments on the fly to the learning experiences to cater to how individual students best learn. And in practice, this might be a combination of visual, audible, and hands-on learning experiences. And if our main purpose within geotechnical consulting is to provide ideas and communicate them, then shouldn't we also be creating a diverse set of experiences and adapting those experiences to our clients so that we can most efficiently communicate our ideas? To segue to a different term of differentiation, I'm going to remind everyone of what Cord Wisman once said 2 years ago in the pit, actually. Cord said that differentiation is a reaction to the market. And this is differentiation within the topic of consulting. And it was in the same Geo-PIT just a few years ago that Cord went on to say that our deliverables and our terms of our generic recommendations and our geotechnical reports will go away. You may think that that's a bold statement, especially from someone in the contracting side or the dark side, as Cord put it a few years ago. But I think there's something going on here, and I wonder if maybe you're seeing it too. The question is what our real value is and what our deliverables should be. So what are our deliverables? You're all probably familiar with geotechnical data reports and design reports, but what else can they be, and what other tools are there for effective communication? Well, there's databases, and I know Alan could talk for quite a while about the DIGS format and how that'll reshape the way we can provide data within the geotechnical world. There's augmented, virtual, and mixed reality, and in 2 years ago, on the same pit, it was Scott Anderson that talked about virtual reality and the HoloLens that you'll see on the screen. And there's also 3D PDFs, and those can be used to convey complex designs in a simple PDF format. There's building information modeling, which has become quite popular. There's mapping and spatial data, or GIS, as many might call it. And maybe there's some other things out there too, some other buzzwords such as 4D and 5D modeling. But what's the purpose of these technologies, and how do they fit into geotechnical consulting? Well, my take is that these are a diverse set of communication tools that help us communicate our ideas to a diverse set of stakeholders. But why hark on communication anyway? Why is communication just as valuable as the ideas that we create in the first place? Why is engineering cognition so important? And rather than giving you my own take on it, I'll share a few words from mentors in my life. A retired Schnabel dam engineer once said that errors happen at the fringes, or more specifically, that errors happen at the interface of different technical disciplines. And to that effect, another mentor in my life, Dr. Dave Manti, once said, the design interactions at the contact of the superstructure and the substructure have the potential to make or break almost any bridge project. It's the same concept. Our ability to communicate our ideas across disciplines have the ability to make or break our projects. And lastly, I have one more quote here from another mentor, Dr. Michael McGuire, who once said, I enjoy taking a complicated problem and making it clear that everyone can understand both the problem and the solution. And isn't that really our role as geotechnical consultants, or as engineers in general? We as consultants interact with so many different stakeholders, and we need to communicate our ideas to this diverse set of stakeholders, not just our clients. This is similar to how teachers teach in diverse ways to reach a diverse set of students. And so, as I close here, I'll leave you with one last story. I was recently working on a project where our project team proposed using BIM as a tool to improve engineering cognition for a design with a lot of historical data and interrelated parts. And this slide shows just a small portion of our model, depicting the design of a staged labyrinth spillway with existing buried features, the structural layout for the design concept, and geotechnical data showing different stratum in different colors. Our client liked the idea of using the tool because it let us more rapidly tell the story of the complex project history and really how we went from that project history to our final design. Interestingly, though, our client questioned our initial thought to include BIM as a separate line item in our proposal. Our client pointed out that using BIM to improve engineering cognition does not change our key value of providing and communicating ideas. Instead, using BIM, augmented reality, or other technologies to improve engineering cognition is just part of the process that we use to get the job done. It's not a new service. So to circle back to Cord Wisman's point from a few years ago, our traditional deliverables are going away. The lengthy geotechnical reports of yesterday are evolving into databases and models to improve our efficiency in communicating our ideas with clients and stakeholders. And as today's cutting edge technology evolves into tomorrow's standard deliverables, we as consultants need to stay focused on what our clients really need and continually develop new ways to differentiate ourselves. Thank you.